Prep Coaches Show, or the Dr. Charles Wade Coaches Show. Gentlemen, we're joined by Ethan Abner. What a Saturday night here at Pope. Pope came in here, took care of business in the quarterfinals for the first time in school history. Dr. Wade, you've been here a long time, first time Final Four. Talk about that moment and that game.
Well, the moment and the whole atmosphere of the night was just amazing. It was definitely hands down the best atmosphere I've ever witnessed here, and I've coached here as an assistant and a head coach for over 12 years. So it was amazing. The game was a slugfest. It was two heavyweight teams that scouted each other pretty well, knew each other's tendencies, and I really think the team with the best players ended up pulling it out because our talent ended up taking over in the second half, particularly Trey Pierce defensively and being aggressive offensively, and Osby in the third, fourth quarter really propelled us offensively and made some key passes.
Talk about on the offensive, Coach Abner, what were they able to do successfully to take you all out of your comfort zone and what you normally like to do offense, and what were your answers?
Well, they have size that we really haven't seen all year. They had a big 6'10", they had a 6'8", both pretty physical. So they kind of protected the rim, and they also iced us at the beginning of the game, which we haven't seen a lot of, and that's just basically deterring us from going middle with our top guards. So that kind of threw us off. I knew that we had to get to halftime to make our adjustments and talk about it, in which we did. We had a really good spurt at the end of the second to give us the lead back, because we were kind of teetering in that in the late first and early second with our offense. But once we sat down and talked with them and went over what needed to be done, we started having a little more success in the second half with our half-court offense. But I was proud of how the boys adjusted and how they didn't get nervous or scared, or they were looking over to us with their hands up like, what do we do? They kept their composure, and we made the right adjustments to pull it out.
And then defensively, you mixed up some things with them. Talk a little bit about what your defensive game plan was and how you all mixed up some things, the zones and stuff that you threw at them to help you really win that game with defense.
Yeah, they dominated the point and paint in the first game, which that didn't happen to us very often. We pretty much, I think we won that either all game but one or maybe two. So focus was to keep two out of the paint. They like to run the flash screen with the big post back turned to the guard and just kind of let him play off that. We did a good job of adjusting and switching that. So we kept two out of the paint. And then we were going to be physical with their bigs, make them earn everything, 3-4 front of the post. The guys really did a good job of keeping ball pressure on the guards, making those pass and entries hard. And that was really the difference in the game. That was the defensive game plan. Just not let them have too many second shot opportunities and be physical, make the bigs earn everything they got.
Coach Abner, let's talk. This sophomore class that we have here is special. People know about Trey. There's been a lot of talk about Jerron. But in that game, we saw Osby and have seen Osby begin to really mature and grow up as a player. Talk about his impact when y'all stayed small against him on offense and what he was able to do, because what a second half he had.
Well, this is the second time doing it in a row. If you recall the region championship against Brentwood Academy, he had a similar performance. So this sophomore class is special, like you said. They're really starting to separate themselves from the rest of the class in the state. To me, I don't think you can find three other guards like Jerron Talley, Trey Pearson, and Osby Cavan on the same team if you look around. But we knew that they had their top two defenders on Fred and Trey. So Osby was able to really take advantage of that third or fourth defender, and he kind of got what he wanted. And we actually had the similar game plan facing Brentwood Academy, because you got to pay attention to Fred and Trey, and then whoever's guarding Osby, good luck. That kid is special. He's probably got the best offensive package on our team right now, and he's he's done a great job really fulfilling his role, his six-man role this year. And I know it's been some ups and downs, but as you can see these past two games, I think he's really now figuring out why we do what we do and why we game plan how we game plan. And now he's flourishing in the biggest moments of the season.
One of the cool things that happened was an hour and a half before tip. And you're walking through a hall and having a conversation, shocking, I know. And you stop and you turn around and you said, don't forget the scissors. And it sent chills down. Now, I failed you because I gave you the dullest pair of scissors we have in this school. But it was this right here because the other night the kids didn't have the opportunity to cut this down when we were at CPA. Yeah. But you all got to cut this down. And, you know, I think as you and I spoke as the week went along, your confidence in this game and your team grew and grew and grew to the point that you told me to grab scissors an hour and a half and have them ready. And, you know, talk about that. I mean, this right here may not mean a lot to other people, but I have seen firsthand what you all have been through last year, this year, to get this and to be able to cut that down. What was that moment like, just to be able to stand up there on that ladder, the great picture of you doing this as you're cutting this down, and watching the kids get to do that?
It was a nod to our kids and the hard work that they have put in from really the day the season ended last year and up until that moment. But it was also a nod to our student section, our community, for the support that they've shown us all year. Like our legion has definitely grown. But that goes back to what the boys did early in the season. They went out, they supported other teams. That was intentional. And those kids have showed the same love and support and growth. And that's the way the school community should be. We should always support each other. But my confidence grew just in watching tape and watching the game and watching the first game and how bad we played and still only lost by 4 points with a chance to win it several times. And then just watching other tapes, watching tendencies, and knowing that athletically we could take them out of what they wanted to do offensively. So that's where my confidence grew. And the same message I told you I gave to the boys part of the pregame. I talked to them how we're going to shake hands in line, how the students are going to run onto the floor. We're going to take care of business. We're going to be good sports, and then we're going to go run over to the student section, and then we're going to go cut the nets down.
Well, and let's talk about that student section. Well, obviously, we're here to talk about the boys and what they're doing right now, but that atmosphere Saturday night was as good as I've ever seen in high school sports. And that student section, I think 615 Prep,
Sports Life.
Sports Life. I know we're Main Street right now, but they commented it was the best student section they've ever seen in Middle Tennessee. And, I mean, you bring your kids out to that moment and with that environment, it's easy for them to get hyped and to stay hyped.
Yeah. Last year they would have got nervous with that type of crowd. We played in big games and big situations all year. They've adjusted to it and they know how to play to it. They use that student section for energy, for motivation. Jerron Tyler did a great job of kind of interacting with students, and you can see Tony he'll turn to the student section. It was a great home court advantage, in my opinion.
When we come back, we're going to preview Cookeville. I love to hear that word. Love to hear that. That's what you've been shooting for all year in the Final Four.
Your favorite wine tasting experience is back. The Hendersonville Rotary Club's Wine and Roses Fundraising Gala. Everything you loved and more. Saturday, March the 2nd. Prepare your taste buds for elegant wines, smooth whiskeys, craft beers, and exceptional food. Browse through the silent auction, all to benefit over 25 local charities, schools, and scholarships. Wine and Roses, Saturday, March the 2nd at Our Lady of the Lake Catholic Church, Hendersonville. HendersonvilleRotary.org.
Having fun?
Yeah, I'm going to key of my own pretty soon. Me too.
Good night, Kia guy.
Good night.
Buckle up, Dad.
Are we there yet?
At Kia of Murfreesboro, we're here whether you're ready or not.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Welcome back. We've been talking about this all year, Cookeville. But before we get to Cookeville, obviously everyone here has met Coach Abner, but two guys that have been with you for a long, long time who are quite instrumental coaches here who are not on property, which is why they're not on this show, Ricky Lang and Vince Webby. I'd like for you to take a moment and speak about the impact that they've had on your program and throughout not just this year, but all the years previous.
Well, I'll start with Ricky. I coached Ricky when he was a freshman here. I think I coached his sophomore year, and I left his junior year. But we had already established the previous relationship. When I found out he wanted to get into coaching, I was actually racing with Beach to try to see who was going to get him on their staff first. So I beat Kip to Coach Lang, and it's been one of the best things to ever happen. Ricky is one of the relationship guys, along with this big fellow over here, and just he's kind of the calming voice for us all, and even the boys. He knows how to talk and make things make sense, and sometimes he's the tiebreaker. If he and I are talking, or if he's
Sure.
kind of the third guy to help us with decisions when it comes to input with game plan or something we're doing in the game on the fly. We all have great little mini discussions about what we're going to do. We make a great team. But he's just an awesome young man, and I think the boys. I know the boys. The boys love him to death. Their eyes light up when he comes into practice because he's not on campus. If he's not here at a certain time, they're all asking where he's at. So they have a great. I would just go back to his relationship with the young men.
And then talk about Vince. Vince has been here since the beginning of time, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vince.
Vince was on Coach Snead's staff.
Okay.
I think he coached a little bit with Kip and Coach Bradshaw, maybe a little bit with Kip and his freshman team. He was out of coaching for about 3 or 4 years. Vince was actually the first coach that I hired on my staff to coach the freshman team. So he came back, he coached the freshman. He would help with the varsity when he could. Then I think three years ago, he became full-time on varsity. Vince is the analytical one. He's the one that's not going to show a lot of emotions, which we need that because all the rest of us do. And he helps us with the numbers. He keeps us informed. But also on the back side of things, he's creating clips, watching huddle, helping with in-game adjustments in his way. Vince has done and seen it all, so if he has a suggestion, he'll let one of us know, and that's been invaluable.
So let's talk about this week, but we're going to start not necessarily talking about Briarcrest, and I want both of your input from two different perspectives. We'll start with Coach Abner. This is a special week. The energy in this school is as good as I've ever seen it. Probably never seen it quite like this. Plans are being made because it's a 1:30 game on Thursday. From the players' perspective and practicing and all them, how do you keep them grounded and keep them to where they're going to peak on Thursday and not peak on Tuesday or Wednesday in practice? What are you doing, or how do you feel like you have to work with them in practice just to keep them ready to go and focused for what's at hand on Thursday?
Well, a lot of them see me multiple times a day here at school, and we will go over what they did really well the last game and what to expect the next game. Individual meetings, I feel like I played a big part with several of them, with them getting prepared and calming them down. And if they don't understand something, I'll break it down to them real quick. But just individual meetings during school, and then in practice right now, we're just trying to keep them. We're trying to keep them light. We're trying to keep their head clear. We've done the same routine that we've been doing. This is a special game, but we don't want them to play too restricted, or we don't want them to feel too big for the moment. So we're taking this game plan like we have the other 29, and we're planning on going out there and handling business.
How has your week been? This is not a normal week. You obviously have a job as admissions here, that you run admissions, but the outside stuff, getting ready, you got to get a bus ready to go to Cookeville. You got to plan meals. I'm sure you're getting interviews from other people that maybe you're not used to having to give those interviews to. Talk about those distractions and probably the relief it is when you step on the court for practice each day.
Well, I mean, there's just distractions for time. Like you said, my full-time admissions job, I can't tell you how many meetings and, interviewing parents, interviewing students, and trying to cram in, watching a little film, but also playing practice. I do collaborate with Coach Lane, Coach Abner when we play practice. He mostly sent everything today because I've been in meetings all day. But really, I don't see things as a distraction. I see it as an opportunity. I know we're blessed to be in this situation. Sure. So I look forward to all the things that happen. And some things just kind of fall in your lap. I mean, I talked to Pedestal about breakfast Thursday morning. That's easy. We're here. We're going to eat pancakes. I know they love that. So that was easy. I just got a text from BCAT. But they're going to feed us Thursday after the game because we're part of BCAT. So they're going to have Fazoli's catered. All we have to do is go pick it up. So that's something off my list that I don't have to worry about. So we had the TWSA meeting. Coach Dempsey and I have met a couple times trying to make sure we get the pass list and all those things corrected and right. But it's really not that much different from any other week, besides just the magnitude of the game. But like Coach Abner said, we're just approaching it just like the other 30 we've already played. I'm not one that's going to get too high or get too low. I try to be the calming force for the boys. I try to show them that this is just another game.
Well, and a special shout out to Belmont. As you go play at Tennessee Tech, you're playing in a gym they're not used to playing in. They're used to brick walls being right behind the goal. I think MVA is the only place where probably that's not like that. But Belmont, not only with you all, but the other teams, very cool of them to open their gym doors up to you all to get a feel for what it's like to shoot in a much bigger arena.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Coach Alexander and Belmont staff for making that possible for us. I didn't know that the other teams that reached out, but when they sent the schedule, 2 other teams are going to practice there also. So there's not like this real advantage going on with us going over there, but I think everybody had the same idea. Let's practice on the college floor. Let's get used to that depth perception of shooting, and just kind of get the boys used to it so when they step foot on the floor Thursday, it won't be boring to them.
So Thursday, Briarcrest from West Tennessee, from Memphis area. Talk about some of the challenges they're going to present. I think they finished 26-4 on the season. Talk about the challenges. We'll start with you, Coach Abner, on what they'll present for you all on Thursday.
Well, they have a very good team. They have great length, great size, senior-led. They start 4 seniors and 1 sophomore. They've got a kid that's a Belmont commit, Cooper Haynes, super talented, very skilled. He's right up there with Tyler Tanner and some of the other best in the state. They have a very versatile 6'7" sophomore big, Fred Smith, who does a little bit of everything. He's not your normal big. He's more like a point forward, like a point forward type. And they got some good shooting, and they're a good team. They're not 26-4 for no reason. And over there in Memphis, the competition is just as good as it is where we're at. So they're going to game plan for us just like we're going to game plan for them. And we've got to slow down their shooting, and they've got to slow down our athleticism.
And certainly, if you can get past Briarcrest, then you've got another heavyweight game. It's going to be Webb against VA. I've seen a lot of people picking against Webb. Webb's a darn good basketball team, and either one of those teams will present challenges. Point being, the road that you have left is hard for a reason. and you've earned that chance to have a hard road ahead.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And yes, Webb has won 3 out of 4 games with Baylor and BA, who's both been in the top 4 Division II AA all year long. So us slipping or people overlooking Webb, that's a mistake. They're very talented. They're super well coached. It's got one of the best coaches out there doing it. And their defensive plans are second to none. So it's going to be a tough out for any of us to beat that team.
So you all know basketball. I mean, you know how to game plan for games. But on a week like this, when it's something that's very new to you, do you reach out to people who've been to Cookeville before and ask, hey, what worked for you? What didn't work? Is that something that happens in the coach's world, or you just kind of wing it?
You know what? I thought about that. I thought about calling the Englands and the Starks and all the guys that have been through it. But, you know, we've got this far by doing it our way. And this is not being arrogant, but I think you get there by figuring some of these things out on your own. And I think thus far, as far as big games, we played really well. So why change that? I did talk to Kip and Kip called and I did ask him, like, what are some of the things you did a couple of years ago? He told me what not to do. He said, don't get your boys up here all day. Yeah. Like I did against Baylor, and then they got off the bus and hooped us out because my boys were drained because they've been up here all day. So I made a point not to get them up here too early and keep them loose. And ping pong, thank goodness for that. They stayed loose and they were ready to play.
Well, you go back to the movie Hoosiers, and they go to the state championship, and they pull the tape out. Yeah. Everything, the goal's still 10 feet, it's still 15 feet from there. And at the end of the day, when you all step on that court, you're in your comfort zone. That's something they know.
Absolutely. These boys have been preparing for this, since this summer. We faced high-level competition. I think our last 15 games this summer, I think 10 of them were BCAT opponents. So it was the type of opponents that we're seeing right now. I think 6 or 7 of those teams was either in the state quarterfinals, Final 4, Final 8. So they got used to that this summer. So this is nothing new for them. They're enjoying the moment. Of course, yeah, they're nervous when it comes up to game time, but you couldn't tell me that they wasn't ready to play Saturday. Well, Thursday at 1:30, NFHS, MyTV 30. I know MyTV 30 will have it Saturday, not sure on the Thursday. 1:30 against Briarcrest in Cookeville at Tennessee Tech. If you can come out, come out. Tickets are on GoFan. We're going to do a special send-off here, and hopefully you get that win and have that same opportunity at 1:30 on Saturday. That will be MyTV 30, but we need to pack the place with as many Pope fans as we can. Students, I hope to show out. I know they're giving them free passes here, so you all are the heroes right now because you're getting a lot of kids out of school on Thursday. But please check it out. We will be back next week. I don't know if we'll have another one of these or not, but what a heck of a run it's been so far, and I can't wait to watch what y'all do this weekend. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.